Our guest today is Sarah Mosley, who works on her family's farm in South Otago.
We're at Kowhai Bush Farms down in Stirling, and we are a potato farm. Yeah.
As we speak, one of your employees has driven past us on a forklift truck with a big box of potatoes.
Yeah, so we wash all of the potatoes predominantly the day before they pack out, so they've got time to dry. So yeah, that's the wash plant over there, and we grow 7 different varieties. So at the moment they're washing Agria.
What other varieties do you grow?
We have Red King, Red Rascal, Van Rosa, Desiree, Agria, Nadine, Marisanka, and then this year we're actually testing out a couple of different varieties, Butte, Flamenco and Everest. But yeah, we're just trial running them this year, so hoping that their shelf life is a bit longer.
Yes. And what is the most popular variety?
Agria, that's sort of the yellow flesh potato. So it's quite like a nice texture when you mash it, and it crisps up quite well. Like you always see on restaurant menus, twice baked Agria or double fried Agria potato fries. They seem to like advertising that that's the variety they use, but personally I don't think it's that great, but that seems to be what everyone loves.
What's your favourite spud?
The Marisanka is probably the most flavourful one that we've got, but it also causes a lot of issues growing and packing, so it's probably my least favourite production-wise, but taste-wise is probably the best.
Now, your family have been growing potatoes for generations, haven't they?
Yeah, so I'm 6th generation currently. Originally there was William Alfred Mosley, who came out on the John Wycliffe boat in like 1850 something. Yeah. And he started growing potatoes on Inchclutha, which we still grow potatoes currently, and then he had like 11 children, so there's been a lot of dispersing, but yeah, ever since the Mosleys have farmed on Inchclutha, and we still currently lease some of the land that he started out on, so it's quite cool that it's spanned, but it started really developing from my grandfather. He probably grew maybe 40 hectares to like diversify with dairy farming, and then they decided that it worked quite well, and so within him and my father sort of grew it from there. Yeah.
And so how many hectares of potatoes are you growing?
140 hectares. And we also lease land. We've actually started growing down in Southland as well, so we're cutting them all the way from down there. And at the moment we're digging in Milton, so it's about 50-50 I think what we own and then lease. Yeah.
Now, what's your role here, Sarah?
A bit varied. Yeah, if it was a title, it'd be like production manager. So I sort of do the day-to-day operations here at the yard and manage the staff. We have about 20 to 25 at a time employees. So yeah, just sort of delegating roles and then overseeing the operation here at the yard.
And what's your background? Because you've only recently come back to the farm.
Yeah, well, it's actually gone very quickly. I've been back almost 5 years now. So it came back into 2019. But previously I was in the hospitality industry.
And you spent some time studying hospitality in Switzerland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I started my diploma in Queenstown at the QRC College, and then went to Switzerland to finish my degree there, and then had to do an internship in the Caribbean, and then actually finished my degree in Sydney. So yeah, I sort of got to travel around a bit with my studies, so that was cool.
And before you came back to the farm, you were managing a hotel in Wellington?
Yeah, that's correct. The Bay Plaza up in Wellington. I was operations manager there for about 2 years. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, but just got the call to come home.
Yeah, well, how did that work? Did your dad ask you to come down, or did you get sick of living in a big city?
No, it was just sort of, we were looking at what was going to happen, future planning, and Dad was wanting an extra set of hands, and my brother couldn't leave his job, what he was doing currently, and I was probably a bit more flexible.
So you packed your bags and came home?
Yeah, I had more opportunities down here. I've been able to buy my own house and stuff, which I never would have been able to do in the city, and yeah, it's a way different lifestyle, but we work very great hours here. We do Monday to Friday, 8 till 4:30, so it's not the typical farming hours. So also very different to the shifts of hospitality.
And how is business going?
Good. I think a lot of the growers have had a good season, whereas last year there was a shortage on potatoes, whereas this year I think we're going to have an oversupply.
Does that mean potato prices might drop a bit?
Potentially. I mean, the price that we sell them to the supermarket is fairly constant. You know, it's sort of, it's them that adjust the prices. So Yeah.
And people can also come here and buy their potatoes directly, which is nice for the locals.
No, it is. It's really good, and it's a super affordable way, and it also means that we can sell some of our seconds. You can get a 20 kilo bag here for $12, which is a lot of food. And I mean, there's technically nothing wrong with them. They're just not quite up to the supermarket standard. They might have a few nicks or cuts or not be the right size.
Yes. So how many tonnes of potatoes do you produce in a year on average? Because I'm guessing it would be heaps off 140 hectares.
Yeah, I think the estimate is we get about 50 tonne off a hectare, but about 50% of it almost works out to be waste or seed. So what actually packs out is not as much. But we pack out 10 to 15 tonne a day to the supermarkets. So
You've got trucks coming and going all the time?
Yeah, so the truck that's just pulled in now has just come from Milton. That's freshly harvest agria.
Who's this on the forklift here?
This is Peter. He's been with us for a year, maybe. He's one of our truck drivers. Sorry, Pete.
Now we're looking at the freshly dug potatoes, and they're relatively clean, aren't they, already?
Yeah, they're not too bad.
Is that because the machine shakes off most of the mud?
Yeah, and we are pretty lucky with where we grow that we've got relatively good soil. Sometimes you look at a bin, you're like, oh, there's more dirt than potato in there, but at the moment we're pretty lucky. But yeah, we've got a bit of scab on these ones, which isn't great.
Yeah, why is that?
It's generally to do with the soil or what's been grazed on the paddock the year before. So these will generally go straight to the wash shed, where there'll be someone on the what we call the dirty end, and they'll remove the dirt and anything really obviously stuff that's wrong with them, like this. And then they will go through the clean end, and then ideally we would have 2 people grading them there, and then they get graded for a final time before they get packed out, where you'd have 2 people grading them again.
A lot of quality control.
Yes, yeah. We try to do our best.
What do you love about this work? Because as we've discussed, it's quite different to what you trained to do.
Yeah, I mean, everything's all transferable, right? Like, there's still a lot of staff management in hospitality, and so that's sort of all transferable because they do all this sort of HR side of stuff on this here as well. And I don't know, it's just different every day sort of thing. Not cooped up in an office, get to be outside, or yeah.
What are the hardest things about your role here?
I think it's just disappointing when you have a bad crop. It makes it really difficult from our perspective, as well as what you're providing to your customers, because it makes our life so much harder here as well, because there's so much to take out. It slows everything down because you have to try and get the bad quality ones out. And then, yeah, obviously customers aren't always happy and you get complaints. But no, we're pretty lucky. We've got a really good staff team. We've got one staff member who's been here over 30 years, and then there's probably almost 10 people that have been here 10 years plus. So we're really lucky that we've got that team that knows what they're doing and is reliable. So
yes. Are your future plans to grow the business?
It would take probably quite a bit to grow it further. We'd need all new machinery realistically. We're sort of running at capacity with what we have currently. So yeah, we would need to look at investing in more technology, I guess.
Sarah Mosley there from Kōwhai Bush Farms in South Otago.